Hey everybody, this is Rory McDonald from MacDon and Associates coming to you with the next episode of Tuesdays with Rory. I got a special guest in the studio. This is Richard Lagrou, the mortgage dad here in Metro Detroit. Excited to have you on. Excited to have you be a part of the podcast. Absolutely. Yeah. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you're all about.
First off, father of four. So 8, 6, 4, and 2. So I spread it out, thus the dad part of mortgage dad. I've been in the business for 21 years, thus the experience part of being the mortgage dad. I've been in retail for a couple of years, came back to this side, working independently as a broker. So it's a little bit new, trying to grow that business, trying to really get the mortgage brand out, that mortgage dad brand out there, which is kind of important because I think people need to have somebody that's looking out for their best interest in this business for sure. Yeah,
I would agree with that for sure. It's funny over the course for some of you who know me, obviously I'm a little bit active on social media, and actually some of the people who are probably watching this are friends with both of us. And they're like, I've seen both of these guys on social media. Why are they on the same video? Right. So one of the cool things about social media and its ability to just connect people from all walks of life, all different types of businesses, all different backgrounds, different states, different countries, right? Like that's the beautiful thing about it. And one of the things within our world, the mortgage world, the real estate world, insurance world, the home building world, like you go down the list, right? It gets everybody connected. That's so true. So Richard reached out to me, you reached out to me and was like, hey man, you want to get together? You want to do something? And I was like, yeah, man, let's get you on the podcast and let's connect. And
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was good. Have you noticed that too in your world? Like, at least where I come from, real estate agents that start off and they get going. One of the things that I've noticed that they struggle with is like going and having those conversations.
Right. For sure.
Have you seen that as well?
Yeah. A lot of them just don't know how to get out there to the world, how to, I'll say, brand themselves, right? Yeah. Like show people who you are. Like that's the important part. And a lot of them just post like, I have a listing, I have this, I closed a house. Oh, my friend closed the house.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's more like, here's the information you need to survive. Do you need to buy a house right now? Well, no, you might not. You might not have the down payment, but you also might not know how much actual money you need. So call somebody like me. And I post those kind of videos on social media, just like you do. Like we got to keep other people in our industry honest too. Yeah. You know, like you can't just put a video out saying, hey, you can afford a $600,000 house when you really shouldn't afford a $600,000 house. Yeah. Numbers wise, yes, you can. But should everybody buy one? Probably not.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that. That makes absolute sense. And I think it comes back to where we connected on this is going like, hey, the goal behind the content is not necessarily to draw somebody in, but to make sure that they have the information.
For sure.
Right. Obviously, neither one of us, if somebody came and said, hey, I want to buy a house with you, or hey, I want a mortgage with you, no one's going to say, no, go away.
No.
Right. We're going to help you guys out. But we want you to have as much information as possible prior to even calling us. That way you have at least an idea of really what's going on with the market.
For sure.
What you can expect giving us a call. And most importantly, in my opinion, our heart behind what it is that we do.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly important in where it is that we come from. You have a pretty extensive background in the mortgage world too.
For sure. Yeah.
Do you mind digging into that a little bit?
Sure. So I was actually a mortgage broker for a long time. I was a processor. I was a closer. I did payroll. I did HR. And actually it was right down the street from you.
Yeah.
Here. I got out of that business and I live in Michigan. So everybody tries Quicken Loans for a little bit of time. So I did my 9-month rotation and got out of Quicken Loans as fast as I could. I went to Flagstar, so I worked retail for a long time. I did underwriting for a long time. I worked in call centers. I was a quality mentor, which means I just listened to other people's calls and corrected them. Then I started doing home equity lines of credit, which I did for 5 years. Started selling first mortgages, which was just natural because I was an underwriter. Went to a place during the boom that just did refi after refi after refi. And then I just decided I wanted to come back to this side of things. Like retail was literally dying. You know, there's no call centers anymore. Mm-hmm. It wasn't personable. And I'm at that point in my life with 4 young kids, a wife that's actually an airline pilot. So she's gone 3 days a week. Right. So I needed that flexibility to be able to be home sometimes, be available. But like I told you, our business is 25/8, not 24/7. We're always available. Call me whenever. And I get those pre-approvals at 11 o'clock at night sometimes. Don't necessarily like doing them that way. I'd rather do them ahead of time. But yeah, I mean, I've seen every single side of the business. I've seen really bad realtors. I've seen terrible mortgage guys. Like, they're out there, especially in this business. You know, there's 16,000 realtors in Metro Detroit. Something more
too
than
many,
that. Right? And some people are doing it part-time. Some people are just trying to, get a little business here and there. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
But you got to learn your craft, right?
Yeah.
And I work with a bunch of mortgage guys that are newer to the business, and I teach them. That's the Mortgage Dad way too, is I teach them the right way. And I get questions every morning about, hey, I got this. What should I do? And that doesn't grow my business, but I help them be more honest.
Yeah.
So
that's, I mean, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. And I mean, to sum it up the best way possible, quality over quantity.
Correct.
Right. Like I have this conversation with real estate agents all the time. Well, he's been in the business for 25, 30 years. Yeah. He's been in the business for 25, 30 years. It doesn't make him good.
Correct.
I have seen brand new first-time real estate agents be the best agent I've ever worked with on a deal. Strictly because they care about what it is that they're doing and they're trying to learn. They're coming in with the mindset of, I want to grow.
They really value that borrower too. Like
exactly.
Somebody we talked about, sometimes there's lenders that work in a real estate shop and they might not care as much. Same thing with the guy from 25 years. He's got longevity. He's got clients coming to him and he might just walk through it. Right. Somebody that's only been in the business for a day might not have that information, but they might have that hustle. Right.
Yeah.
So there's both ways of looking at it from that standpoint.
Right. That I would agree with that. So another thing that we talked about just before jumping on is the nurturing side of the business. Obviously, Mortgage Dad plays a little bit of a role within that. But really, as professionals in the business, it's very easy for us to have conversations, and it happens often, of people who quite honestly are just not ready financially to be in a position to purchase a home.
Correct.
That is okay. I want you guys to hear this. It's okay.
100%.
For you to be in a position where you're not ready to purchase a home. And oftentimes what I've seen is those people, and this is my side, I'm only speaking to the real estate side. Those people who are out there who are like, yeah, I want to purchase so bad, but I need to get my credit up, or I need to save a little bit more money, or I need to do X, Y, and Z before it can actually happen. Oftentimes, I've seen this where real estate agents literally just put them to the side and they're never talked to again.
Correct.
They're never conversed with again.
Happens way too much.
Yes. And we actually here have made we've made a business out of finding those people who have been cast out to the side and going, hey, come here, we got you. Like, I'm sorry that happened, first of all, but let us take care of you. Let us talk to you. Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly the most organic way of growing your business. It might take longer, which is why a lot of lenders and realtors for that matter don't do it. But I found, and just same thing with that person that doesn't know how much money they need and doesn't know, their credit scores and doesn't know that, needs nurturing. They need somebody like me to go do an application, do what we call, what this is, a soft pull credit, where it doesn't hurt them, right? Yeah. I do a soft pull. I can tell exactly what their debts are, exactly what their debt ratio is. I can look at their job history. All they send me usually is a pay stub and a driver's license, which all of us have available.
Sure.
Right. That lets me go, okay, you need $2,000 to buy a house. You qualify for a down payment assistance program. You don't qualify for a down payment assistance program. You need a cosigner. You need a gift.
Yeah.
You, as a person buying a house, don't know that you can get a gift from a family member, right? You don't know that you qualify for this. A lot of times don't know their credit scores. People go through Credit Karma or one of these other services. Credit Karma is not real. It's good for comparing month to month, but it is not a mortgage credit report.
Sure.
It does not tell you can buy a house. I can do that soft pull and tell you, yes, you're ready, and have Rory call you and go look at houses, right? And get it started. There's also a lot of people in this business, I'm sure you ran into it, where they just hand out a pre-approval letter.
Oh, yeah.
Without looking at somebody's pay stub, without looking at their credit history, without doing that. I don't want to do that. I want to get somebody qualified based off their income, based off their assets, know exactly what they're going to do and be able to go, hey, Rory, here's the pre-approval letter. They're fully ready to go right now. Or, hey, Rory, we should call them in a month.
Yep.
Set a follow-up for March 1st. I'm going to call them on March 1st. You're going to call them on March 1st. We're going to continue our relationship and grow. And if they're ready, great. If they're not, 2 more months, 3 more months. We let them know what they need to do. I can also help them with their credit. I can tell them, pay down this credit card, go put some money here, go call this collection agency. And I know you don't want to, but pay that $100 that you don't really owe, because in the end, your credit score is going to go up 50 points,
Right.
And there's a lot of realtors and a lot of lenders out there that are not willing to nurture.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And that's, I've said it to you a million times already since we've been here today, right? Nurturing clients is the way to grow a business. Yeah. And a lot of people jump in this and just want to be a realtor and just want to be a lender, and they just want it to come to them all in one day. And that does not happen. I don't know if you saw this. I posted a thing today about, it was a little ladder, 2 ladders side by side. And one of them had really large rungs and one of them had really small rungs. And it said, small steps make more sense, basically, or something like that. Yeah, you have to be willing to take those small steps with clients rather than just throwing them in. And you posted a video yesterday that pretty much said it perfectly. Like, there are realtors out there that are just trying to pressure people to just buy a house because they need to make their money. Mm-hmm. That doesn't do us any good. That doesn't get you a borrower for life. That doesn't get you that next house that they're going to buy 3 years from now, right? Nurturing somebody is going to get their business, their sister's business, their brother's business, everybody at their church's business. Like, you're going to get that. And that's where you and I get along very well. Yeah, for sure.
So there's one thing that you said in there that I really want to touch on too. When you said, I don't just hand out a pre-approval letter. There are people out there, there are lenders out there, there are organizations out there that go, you filled out the application, here you go, right? Like, on paper, this is what you should qualify for. And I'm going to tell you all right now, not just from a purchasing side, but from a selling side, why hiring, first of all, the right lender is so incredibly important, but also hiring the right real estate agent is so important. Every single pre-approval that comes across to us here at MacDon Associates, purchaser, seller. And I'm going to explain that in a second. If you're a purchaser, obviously, like, we're having a conversation prior to that piece of paper ending up in my inbox, right? That pre-approval ending up in my inbox. And if you're a seller here in the state of Michigan, when those pre-approvals come into us, which for those of you who don't know the process, if you're working with a real estate agent right now and you are a purchaser, they're like, hey, you need to get a pre-approval. You need to get a pre-approval. They're not trying to blow you off. What they're saying is, and the reason why they need that is because with that pre-approval, that pre-approval is sent over. It is a part of your offer. You're saying, hey, I want to purchase this home. Here's what I'm offering. Here's the details of my offer. And in addition to that, here's proof that I qualify. Here's the qualification letter from another institution saying, yes, I'm qualified. Yes, I'm able to purchase this.
Super important.
And we here at MacDon, when that comes over, the first thing that we do before we even look at the offer sometimes, call on the lender.
And you should. And honestly, if you're putting an offer in with me, I've already called the listing agent.
Sure.
Before that happens, and I get a lot of listing agents are like, who are you again?
Yeah.
I'll be like, look at the pre-approval. My name is on it. And they're like, wait, you're already calling me. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to tell you about my borrower. I've already looked at their pay stubs. I've already verified their assets. I've already looked at their credit. They're fully pre-approved. I did not just give you a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time, that makes all the difference. I mean, if it comes down to your offer and Joe Schmo's offer over here and their lender didn't call, we're going to win.
We're going to the pick. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They're going to roll. They're going to roll with the other offer all the time, which is why, again, the partnership side of things, when it comes to working with a solid lender, that has to be there.
Very important.
It has to be there. So this is good stuff, man. We're getting to a lot of good topics here. This is awesome.
It rolls.
Yeah, it does. There we go. So I've got the ticker going across the bottom here, but obviously reality is in the real estate world where I'm at, we dealing with different lenders, working with different lenders in terms of all of us representing the same client. That happens sometimes, right?
Yes, for sure.
And you as a lender, and I just know, like, this is reality of the situation. A lot of real estate agents look at, sit down with lenders and they're like, there's this like constant, what can you do for me? That happens from real estate agents to lenders.
For sure. Buy me leads, buy me lunch.
Buy me leads. Dinner, hey, when are we going to sign up for Zillow? Hey, I just signed up. Send over the money to me. The paper bag. You know what I mean? Like, that exists. It's not all legit. It exists. It's not
definitely
all legit.
There are, especially from our side, there's legal rules against some of it.
For sure.
I'm not allowed to buy you lunch. I can't send you a gift card.
Yeah.
I can't buy you a bunch of stuff.
For sure.
It doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Yeah.
Right. But I can pay for half your leads, but do I want to? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But there's a relationship. If you and I already built a relationship, and then
now
it
makes sense.
Rory's awesome. I know he's going to close these deals. Well, if we want to build it, great. But in the end, from a realtor's perspective to a lender, you want a lender that's going to handle your deals closely. I think I told you this. I just had a deal clear to close in 4 days.
Yeah.
Right. And we close on average in Michigan 14 days for any kind of deal.
Yeah.
Right. So from a perspective for you, you can also put it in a purchase agreement for 21 days against 30. You get paid. I posted it today. You probably saw it because we like each other on social media, but you get your paid faster.
Yeah.
Your client gets their keys faster. Right. They had a good experience. That should be more important. Right.
Yep.
And same thing for me. If I refer somebody to you, I want to make sure you're showing houses. I don't want to get that call going, hey, I had 5 houses I wanted to look at and Rory just blew me off and didn't answer the phone. Well, that's not going to happen. I know.
Yeah.
Right. That's not who you are. But there are tons of realtors out there that will.
Oh yeah. So. Basketball night is far more important than taking clients out and looking at houses. It happens, right? It just is reality. It happens all the time. But I say all of that basically to lift you up in this moment, right? Like I was telling you, part of the podcast, part of the reason behind this is to lift up other local businesses. Yeah. And I consider you one, right? Like,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And reality is for real estate agents, the reality of our situation is a little bit more select in the number of lenders that we work with, strictly because it makes things easier for us.
It should, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. From your perspective though, there's other real estate agents out there that might connect with you in such a way to where they go, dang, the mortgage dad, nurturing clients. This sounds a lot like my business.
Yeah.
Hey, I watched Rory's podcast. Can we go grab lunch? Can we grab a coffee? Whatever it might be.
Which I'm totally willing to do.
Absolutely. You're just not going to pay for it.
Not gonna pay for it. Exactly.
But getting together with you and doing something like that too, like that's a part of the lender business that a lot of real estate agents just don't know and don't understand.
Yeah.
You work with several other real estate agents outside of me.
We have to.
You have to. Yeah.
Especially over the state of Michigan. Like I have, people in Traverse City, people in Grand Rapids. It's just good business. Could I go to you and go, hey, can you refer me somebody in Grand Rapids? Sure. But I'd rather know that person in Grand Rapids is going to handle it and I have somebody over there.
Sure.
We work. I mean, my brand, the Mortgage Dad, is built off the nurturing part, and they're taking care of people like family, which might be cliche a little bit, but it's who I am.
Yeah.
Right? You know that. You're realtor dad, basically. Right. But like, I want somebody that's going to follow that same thing. Right. I don't just want to work. Like I told you, there's been times I've had coffee with people that are, younger, 21, 22, just as an example, that I just don't get along with. It's just not a relationship that's going to work. I have guys in my office that are a little bit younger, maybe personality wise, they'll click. I want somebody that's going to have the right personality for my clients and mesh with me. And I know works together well. Like that's going to make a better client experience. It's going to make a better experience for the realtor, me, title company, everybody else involved. It's just, to me, it's smart business. That's where the brand came from. So,
yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that tenfold. So anybody out there who is interested, who wants to sit down with the mortgage dad and have a conversation with him around partnering with him, what kind of products that UWM, you guys write through UWM, but what UMortgage provides in terms of what you're able to do with your clients. We talked about it a little bit, and I don't want you to bash on it, but like some of the products that you guys have for first-time home buyers, which is really your niche. You work with a lot of first-time home buyers in coaching them and helping them to make the best decision long-term for them when it comes to purchasing a home.
For sure.
For first-time home buyers, there's programs where they have down payment assistance.
Correct.
That beat out some of the other ones that a lot of people are talking about.
For sure.
Do you mind touching on that really quick?
Yeah, I mean, so there's down payment assistance programs out there that are actual secondary liens, and then there's down payment assistance programs that are grants. I don't believe that anybody should do a down payment assistance program that is a lien, because what's going to happen is if you didn't save the $10,000 you got for the loan in the first place, a year from now, 2 years from now, 18 months from now, whenever it is, when rates get better and they're not in the 7% range anymore and they go down to 4.5%, that borrower is not going to be able to pay off that loan, right? They're not going to have the money. Therefore, they're going to stay at that 7.5% interest rate they have now. Whereas I have a grant program that comes where the lender actually pays the down payment for the borrower, right? We negotiate some seller concessions. The seller pays for the closing costs. I had a borrower in December. I think I told you this or not. He put $1,000 down, $600 for an appraisal. But at closing, right before Christmas, he not only got a house, he got $500 back.
Yeah.
So $1,100 for a $160,000 house before Christmas was great, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I love the down payment assistance program that I do, because that guy a year from now, 18 months from now, I'm going to call him and I'm going to refinance him to 4.5%. He's going to save $250 a month. Whereas if you had that loan program that it's called NISHDA, you already know it, right? It's a loan, right? They're not going to refinance. They're going to be stuck. That's not going to save them $250 a month. It might get them in a home now, right? But I can do the exact same thing with my down payment assistance program.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. The product, like I said, some of the products that you have, and obviously there's probably a little more intricacies and things within them that if people had questions and they wanted to reach out to you and learn more about them, how might they get a hold of you? I had your number ticking across the screen.
It's on the bottom of the ticker, but my cell phone, like I said, I always joke with 25-8. We're always available. 586-873-4360. Like I said, call me anytime. I do have 4 kids, so sometimes we might be having dinner or bath time or whatnot, but I will call you right back and we'll have that conversation, or we'll sit down and have a coffee or do a Zoom or a FaceTime. I mean, I am licensed in Michigan and Florida, so which is kind of nice because we have people that are snowbirds that want to buy down there and they live here. So that's the whole reason behind it. But anybody in Michigan, I can help for sure.
I love it. I love it. Very thankful for you to come into the studio today. I'm happy that you were able to be a part of this and be a part of the podcast, and excited to be working with you in the future, man.
No, I appreciate you having me. And like I said, we get along well. So that works out nicely.
Yeah. Thankful for you guys. Thanks so much for checking out today's episode of Tuesdays with Rory with the mortgage dad, Richard Lagrou. Thankful for you guys. Have a very blessed day. We'll see you.